This program contains scenes of nonsensical garbage and coarse language and is intended for a mature audience. Viewer discretion is advised.
Why, hello, my little babies. You're probably asking yourself, why do you look like a fun dad? A fun single dad, I should say. It's because we're going on vacation, baby, because I couldn't think of a better shirt to put on as I talk about these travel palettes. In reality, this was just a pure coincidence, but as I started doing my makeup, I was like, wow, where the are you going? I like my Uncle Joey era. Mine is making Alanis Morissette really upset. Anyway, okay, so listen, Nomad Cosmetics came out with these really cute travel palettes. It's an extension of their Nomad Air collection, which is one of my favorite things that Nomad has put out. So I was super surprised and super excited to see that they were continuing with this theme. And I really just think this is so cute. So in today's video, I'm gonna show you 3 different eye looks because I created an eye look with each one of these palettes. I know, who am I? Old school Theresa is dead. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the collection and give you my overall thoughts on whether or not I think it's worth checking out. Now, first things first, these were sent to me in PR. Thank you so much, Nomad, for sending them my way. And yes, I am affiliated with the brand. If you're ever interested in wanting to check out anything from Nomad, use the code Teresa's dead. You could save 10% off your order. But regardless, if this was sent to me or not, I'm still going to give you my full honest thoughts because that's how we do on this channel. Even if the brand is really nice to us, if we hate a product, we read it to filth. And that's why I with Nomad Cosmetics, because they respect the criticism. That said, let me tell you a little bit about this collection. So this collection will be launching at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday, May 21st. Each one of these 6-pan slim travel palettes retails for $22 a piece. The first palette is Canadian Rockies. Nature's grandeur. Rich pine greens and vibrant glacier lake blues are combined with lighter hues of nature's woods and mountains. 4 blendable mattes and 2 glistening shimmers. Abu Dhabi. Warm neutrals. A collection of colors from rich spices and desert sands to sunset hues of golden hour on the dunes. 4 smooth mattes and 2 exquisite shimmers. Oslo. Cool neutrals. A mix of shimmery silver and metallic dusty pink with cool taupe and grayish for natural and minimal color tone looks. 4 soft mattes and 2 glistening shimmers. First things first, let's talk about the packaging. This packaging is sick. It's amazing. It's everything that I want it to be. Now, I was a huge fan of the first palette in the Nomad Air collection, and it was cute. It was simple. It was very Pan Am, very nostalgic, very 1960s. I loved it. But there's something really beautiful about these palettes that I think actually look better than that first palette. Now, don't get me wrong, I still love it, but there's just something so, I don't know, fun and like 1960s and nostalgic and just timeless. And I don't know, it's like what I would see in Mad Men, okay? That's what I kind of love about these. I love the design. I think they're so cute. When you open the palettes up, you do get this nice full-size mirror here, and the mirror quality is actually really, really good. There's no warping, no weirdness. Everything looks perfect. Now, what I love about these palettes is the fact that they are 6 pans. And I don't know, maybe it's just my preferences are changing. Clearly, look at me. But I like smaller color stories. I find myself drawn to them more than say something that has like 50 shades. So seeing these palettes have a nice curated color story just gives me all the feels. And encasing them in a very beautiful exterior just makes it that much better. Now, in terms of quality, I'm actually just going to talk about them as a whole because I'm happy to say that I didn't experience any bullshit with any of the palettes. There was no weird consistencies. Everything was the same. So let's start with the mattes first. So each one of the palette has 4 mattes, and the mattes have a really nice range. You have a light, you have a dark, and then you kind of have 2 like mid-tones. They're perfect. I don't have a bad thing to say about them. I didn't experience any insane amounts of fallout. There was no patchiness, no difficulty blending, no balding, and the longevity are really, really good. As I was playing with them the last few days, I would wear them from the morning into the nighttime because sometimes I would be at my job for fucking 12 hours. Oof, the last week was rough. Anyway, and I have to say, even though the rest of my face did not look good, I just looked defeated. My eye look looked great. So thank you, Nomad. Thank you. The other thing that I really love about the mattes is that I didn't have like any sort of muddiness, that all the colors kind of really stood on their own. I didn't have any difficulty blending the shadows out and, creating beautiful gradients between the colors. Everything was very, very smooth. And a welcome change because I've been trying quite a few different eyeshadow palettes lately, and things that which I will talk about in a future video, things that I were like, oh, this is going to be amazing, or it's not amazing. It's nice to have consistency that is just not going to disappoint you. So if you are a fan of Nomad's mattes, Rest assured, these mattes are consistent with their other palettes. Now, when it comes to their shimmers, y'all know sometimes I'm not a fan of Nomad shimmers. Sometimes I'm obsessed and I love them and I think the world of them. And sometimes I'm like, what the fuck is this? Why is there a weird texture? Why does it feel like sandpaper? What is going on here? Ugh. Happy to say that I didn't experience any issues with the shimmers. They don't feel gritty. There's no weird texture. They all worked really well with glitter glue. I had a little bit of fallout with the silver shades in the Oslo palette, which, listen, it's kind of as expected. Silver usually has fallout attached to it. But beyond that, though, I didn't really experience any sort of bullshit with it, which is really great. Now, in terms of tones, this is my kind of complaints, right? So when we look at the Abu Dhabi palette, this is a very beautiful, warm, neutral color story, very basic bitch, right? My issue though is that these two tones, the Golden Hour and Desert Oasis, are a little bit too similar. So in each one of the eye looks that I created for this video, I wanted to use every color of the palette. And the one thing that I did for each look is combine both of the shimmers to try to make a gradient or to see if there was like a real difference, right? This one I kind of felt like, it kind of looked the same. So I kind of wish that the Golden Hour shade, while it is a very beautiful rose tone, I wish it was a little bit lighter because one, it would really, really pop. And two, it would look not so fucking similar to the bottom shade. So that's my only complaint. This palette's begging to have a lighter shimmer shade. So if I could swap something in this palette, it would definitely be the shade right here, the middle shade, because I need it to be lighter and rosier. But I want it to be more, I don't know, like just a fucking spotlight, a beacon, just something that really just stands out. Instead, it just looks very much the same, which is kind of funny because these are two different tones. So that's my only issue with this palette. Now, if I use the shimmer on its own, it's totally fine. It's just only really when using them combined that I'm like, what's the point, you know? And because of that, this is my least favorite palette out of the three. But by no means is it horrible. Like, it's still really good quality. It's just, I just wish that shade was a little bit different. Now, it should come as no surprise that my favorite one would be Oslo, because look at me lately. I mean, despite my colorful shirt, I am a basic bitch through and through. And this is like the perfect basic bitch palette that just has a little bit of everything. Now, y'all know that I do love a good silver, or as I lovingly refer to it as a Tin Man Dick silver. They're good. They're not my favorite silver in the whole world, but I think they're pretty good. I will say that the darker silver, which is called Nordic Cool, that's more of like a pewter shade. And it's actually what I pretty much have all over the lid today. And then the lighter one, the Democratic Design, it has like a nice like pink undertone to it, which I do love me like a pinky silver shade. I feel like it's just one of those shades where everybody just looks amazing. It flatters everyone. Like, it's just so good. I also love the neutral cool tones of this palette. The whole palette between the mattes and the shimmers, like this is like a perfect travel palette for me. Because as much as I, want to be that bitch that utilizes all her makeup when traveling, don't get me wrong, I will pack 50 pounds of it, but what I'll really use is like maybe 10% of it. And it always boils down to a neutral palette, kind of just like this. And if I want to pop a color, I reserve that for my waterline. And I'm happy with that. This is perfect though. This is fucking a staple. This is like such a good travel palette. Now the Canadian Rockies palette, this is really fucking cute too. I love all the shades in this palette. I think it's really, really cute. It's so funny. Like, as much as I have been becoming more neutral, when I do use color, if it's not purple, I find myself drawn to a lot of blues or greens, and I've been kind of coming out with these fucking insane like 70s looks as of late, which I kind of love. It's weird. And I feel like that's what I'm giving you today is very 70s. I'm giving you truck stop hookah, and I love oh God, that was, oof, I don't even know what that was. I don't know who I was channeling. Oh God. Okay, anyway. Truck stop hookah. Anyway, that's kind of what I'm giving you, and I love it. So for today's look, I actually used the shade Find Your Peak all over the crease, and then I blended that out with the Oslo palette. I used a little bit of the minimal shade to kind of make it a little bit more of like a gray tone-ish kind of a blue, because while the blue in this is very, very bright, I just kind of wanted it to be a little bit more 70s hooker, essentially. Essentially. And I feel like it just paired really, really well with a Nordic Cool. I don't know, like, I'm just loving it. I feel like, maybe it's because I'm just like watching a lot of like weird detective shows, but I feel like I am a detective undercover. It's a sting operation. I look like a hooker and I'm like, freeze! Like, that's the vibe that I'm giving you. And all that while wearing an Uncle Joey type shirt. This is not a midlife crisis, but I feel like I have to say that though. Anyway, I love these palettes. I think they're really cute. They are perfect for traveling, and like I mentioned, my preferences have really been changing over the last like year or so. And I just find myself just drawn to these smaller color stories because I just don't want to feel overwhelmed with so many options. Sometimes I just want something super simple that I know it's going to look good, because no matter what color I use, because they are just all so perfect with each other, I'm going to look great no matter what I do. And that's what I like about these palettes. I love this collection. I really do. And I sincerely hope that they continue to create more of these little airport palettes. As much as I do love their bigger palettes, I don't know, I find more use out of these. I also think it would be kind of cool to see more airports. I know it'd be impossible to do every airport ever because it would take them decades, right? But I do hope, and I know this is going to sound like so self-indulgent, and it is, but I do really hope that they make a JFK palette, because I used to work for JFK Airport, and I just, that time in my life was so fucking crazy. I don't even know, just the amount of just weird people and just insanity that is the airport in Queens. Oh my God. The amount of times people would just yell at me for not giving them a window seat. Insane. Or the one time the guy thought I stole his bottle of vodka. He was very drunk, and it merely made no sense because he didn't have any vodka on him, but he was so sure that I stole it. Or the time that they accidentally sent that one woman to Italy when she should have been to Egypt. That was, yeah. I don't understand how that happened, but I wasn't working that day. It wasn't my fault. But anyway, I would love to see a JFK one because I think that would just be really, really cute. But I am curious to see what other palettes and what other color stories will be coming out. But actually, kind of thinking of it now, it's like, what could JFK be? I mean, it smells like shit outside. So it'd just be like probably earthy browns, swampy greens, because Jamaica Bay is a fucking cesspool. And if you know, you know. Maybe some gray from all the smog. And I guess that's pretty much it. So, I mean, does that palette sound interesting? Yes, and I would buy it. Especially if you're going to make it like I imagine like the green could be kind of murky, but also kind of like chartreuse in a weird way because of the toxic water that is Jamaica Bay. It could be like a really cool lime green in a way. I don't know. It sounds insane, but I'm kind of here for it. So anyway, Nomad, please make that. But I really, really hope to see more of these little palettes, especially in the future. Would love to see a purple color story. Would love to see other different airports. Really hope that they continue with this kind of packaging because it just looks like an adorable little set. That said, this collection will be launching tomorrow, but do you need all of it? Probably not. And I say that because I think the two palettes that to me are like the real standouts here is the Oslo and the Canadian Rockies. The Oslo one, well, yes, it is a basic bitch. This is like a staple palette. This is everything you need, whether it's day or night, as well as the in-between. This is a perfect, just fucking travel palette. Like, this is great. This is amazing. But if you want a little bit of color, this is just so pretty. And honestly, I think the combination of the two, they're just made for each other. Don't let the truck stop hooker fool you, okay? These are really, really beautiful when used together. Now, when it comes to the Abu Dhabi palette, this is another palette that's very, very beautiful. But I kind of feel like this color story we have seen, I would say even more than those two color stories. And I feel like in everybody's collection, you have these shades at least 10 times over. So I don't think there's anything that super unique about it. And even if this one shade was somehow lighter, I would still feel the same way about it. This is pretty, but I just don't think it's as special as these two palettes. So if you weren't going to pick up the whole collection, I say either one of these is going to be perfect. But if you wanted to get all three, rest assured, you are going to like this one. It is very good quality. But if you were planning on getting the whole collection, you're not going to be disappointed. But you're going to see what I mean when I say that the two tones look a little bit too similar. So yeah, I really look forward to seeing what else Nomad Air is going to be putting out. These are really cute. Keep up with this energy. And can we also have more adorable makeup bags? Just saying. Just saying. I really want more of those accessories. They are amazing. Again, if you want to pick them up, they're going to be available tomorrow. And if you want to save some money, use the code Theresa is dead to save 10% off your order. Okay, now I want to hear from y'all. Let me know down below if you're interested in checking out this collection or if you're going to be skipping out, or what color stories would you like to see, or airports. Let me know because I love hearing from you. And I want to say thank you so much to my beautiful patrons and my YouTube members. Thank you for keeping this garbage boat afloat. And I'll see y'all babies on Wednesday. Bye. Bye.